Hey everyone, Eric with Rockin' H. Had a little mix up with my camera there, but anyways, hey, welcome to Rockin' H TV session 15. Bingo. We're doing the K100 build along lesson 5, and tonight we're going to do some reassembly. It's going to rock. It's going to be awesome. So we're going to wait for everyone to get on, and we're going to start getting kicked off a little tardy here tonight, but no worries. We're going to get it done, right? And while we're waiting for a few people to join in, there's Dustin. Hello, Corey. And I'm looking around my silly holder thing so I can see everyone. While we're chatting here, I'm looking for some exhaust to go on this build because I was out here messing around earlier and then I had a meeting and, well, not everything just got done. You know how it is. So, there we go. Look at that. Exhaust. Yahoo! All right. We say hi to Matt. He says we're good here. Scott's in. Dustin. Yeah, a little, about 7 minutes late. I like to be here 10 minutes early, but life got in the way and I didn't leave my meeting in time. What are you going to do? So we're just getting warmed up. But lots of cool stuff happening, man. We just got done with a rockin' evening, rockin' weekend. Charles from Ohio says hi. Welcome. All right. Love to see some people from the north and east. I got my decals in today. Bing, bing, bing. Those are the Kenworth decals I posted in the Rockin' H No Secrets Lab earlier, along with some KW decals. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh, there they are. They're so sexy. They are so awesome. They're a little tiny. They're a little small. Okay. No other comments. Good. I'll maybe tomorrow morning early. I haven't decided when I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to apply some so you guys can see how they're going to look on a pickup, or excuse me, a truck. There are there's 6 colors of Peterbilt and then 2 Kenworth. The Peterbilts come in red with black writing, red with, it looks like silver writing, red with white, silver oval, black writing, black oval, and it looks like either clear or white writing. You know, can you read the Peterbilt? More or less, but it's difficult. But that's what we're getting, okay? And then the Kenworth decals look cool because they're block letters. They're easy to read and they're wider than the Peterbilt logo. So that's the way it goes. So anyways, since I'm tardy and it's 8:30, here's what's going to roll tonight. Well, first off, let's just kick off the show so we can get this going, right? So if you're just joining us, I'm Eric with Rockin' H Farm Toys. Welcome to session 15 of Rockin' H TV. This is the K100 build along lesson number 5. We've been building this all along and we've had a 3-week break because I was waiting on decals. And I would love to apply those decals for you, but it ain't going to happen. Because I worked on practice at the Model Building Summit on Sunday morning. I was working on practice. Where did I put practice? I'm glad I did that because the decals are freaking amazing. Josh Bedlam's knocked it out of the park. This is practice, and I'm glad I took some time to put these on before I did the show because I didn't want to lose my religion publicly on Rockin' H TV. That would have been really bad. So they weren't terrible to put on, but I was telling a guy earlier, I was telling Matt, actually, I was chatting with him via text. These decals, it was $70 for a sheet. There were 12 on them. They were $6 a set, right? Ended up using $24 worth of decals because I managed to screw up at least one of these per truck, and then, yeah, man, it was painful. So, nevertheless, yeah, I'm getting heckled out there by Garrett. Anyway, so I'll tell you when I flip the camera around how I actually put them on. So if you guys ever use them on a K1 or a cab over, obviously you'll know how to do it and take the shortcut, but still buy 2 sets because they'll test your patience. All right, So tonight we're going to reassemble the K100, and before we get going on that, David says, are we selling them? Well, if you want to buy them, I'm going to sell them. But can you read the Peterbilt scroll? Sort of, kind of not. So you'll have to deal with that as you wish. But the deal I posted in the lab is still good. So yeah, they are for sale. I'm going to use them because I just bought them. I mean, hell, they cost me $60 for the sheet. And I'm going to use the freaking snot out of them. Okay, so now we are going to get on this build reassembly of the boing. Okay, here we are. So this is, I'm going to show you practice again, just for fun. There's practice. Now, just a second here. I'm going to move this cable out of the road. There, now that's out of the road. Okay, so the way I put these decals on, and you'll notice practice is fully assembled now too. Okay, so what I did was, I cut, let me get you a pointer. So on the sheet, this just prints on clear decal paper. What I did was I cut out the clear decal paper in here and then around, and then also cut this out, which I don't think you would have to do necessarily. And that would actually make it quite a bit easier if you just maybe made a straight cut from here up to here and then out. But over here, you got this window to deal with, so you have to cut some of this out, right? So here's what I did was, the first time I would lay the decal paper on the truck, and then I would hold this end down and then slide the paper out this way, the blue paper. That didn't work as well as putting this down, holding it out, and then sliding the blue decal paper out this way. Okay, that worked much better than the first method I used. Now the only trouble with that is you needed like 14 hands, because as you're holding this down, sliding the paper out, this part right here is curling up. So what I had to do was just stop what I was doing, and then I took a paintbrush with wet bristles and then pulled this out and made sure it didn't fold, and then again holding it down and then slide the paper the rest of the way out. Huh. Easy for me to say, huh? Okay. Now, I used this stuff right here. I used the blue stuff because I wanted everything nice and slippery. So what I did was I would take some of this, and my brush was actually finer than this one. I would take this and I would wet it up so it would slide. Okay, so I could move the paper with the brush and get the lines nice and neat. And you'll see this one isn't perfectly level. It kind of arcs down toward the cab a little bit. At this point, when I was doing this, it was like, holy smokes, I got to do it the best I can. And then you could kind of push the decal paper, the decal, as it was wet. I mean, it looks amazing. Josh knocked these freaking decals out of the park. They are amazing, and that's all I have to say about that. They're very, very cool. So if you do want a set, I have some left, but definitely they're $12. Buy 2 sets, because it's likely you're going to ruin one just like I did. So this is practice. You'll notice practice is fully assembled, and it took me quite a bit of time. I'm glad I took the time to do this yesterday and not wait, because I really needed to learn a few things, and I'm glad I did. Jason says water slide decals are work of the devil. I would agree with that on these. Most of them I have really good luck with, but nevertheless. So why do I'm glad it also worked on this yesterday. I had a heck of a time getting the interior in correctly. I ended up having to trim quite a bit, and you're going to see what I do to this one tonight. I had to work quite a bit to get the interior to trim, because you'll notice right here, on most K100s, the body sits a little closer to the front fender than this one does. And still, I mean, it still wants to rise up a little bit. I mean, I trimmed the snot out of this dude, and this is about as good as I could get it. Not to mention, I almost lost my religion when I lost that stupid headlight. I thought I'd lost it forever. Turns out, that thing popped right here. I was trying to close this. I'm like, why in the hell didn't that shut? And that stupid headlight was right in there. Go figure. Well, praise be to God, I found it. Anyway, so got the headlights in, everything's on. There wasn't really any, I mean, it was pretty straightforward then. And now you'll notice too, let's take a look at practice once more. All right, I hand made the exhaust on the real truck. I'm not going to hand make all the exhaust because I don't need to, but on this one I did. Now you'll notice this cab sits stupid. Well, that's dumb. One, I ended up taking out a number of the different pieces on the engine so the cab would sit and close and everything would work right. Well, then guess what? It makes the cab look dumb. Well, what are we going to do about that? Here's what I did. Took a piece of solder, I bent it to go up into this, what would be the turbo, came out a little bit. You'll notice I didn't quite cut it right because there's a gap. Oh well. And then I used another piece of solder with my exhaust here, glued it to the frame. But look at that, watch it. We're going to do this. Oh, 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 oh. Bing. Guess what? Now it sets level. It's not perfect, but guess what, guys? It's going to sit on my shelf, and you guys aren't going to get to see it because you may not come to Dodge to see it. Ha ha! Okay, finally. Okay, we spent 10 minutes talking about practice. We need to get this rolling. Matt asked me for the big reveal on what I'm going to do with practice, what kind of a bed I'm going to have on it. Well, here we go. I'm into oil-filled trucks. I just think they're cool. So I'm making a gin pole truck out of this bad boy right here. And with these wheels and these big backs on that, it's perfect. It's pretty sweet. I think I may need to shorten my poles just a little bit and go with that. I ended up taking some HO scale diamond plate tread and I put a chunk of that on here to cover up the styrene floor. I handmade the headache rack. It's nothing special, but it's just styrene. And then I reused the resin cast winches. They're not gorgeous, but you know, what the hell. They're going to be fine. And then, and you'll notice too, I don't have my angles quite right because they're farther over here than here. I'm working that out. Then I'm going to use this stretch stuff I bought from Hobby Lobby for the cables. And I put a piece of bent, took a straight pin actually, just bent it in a U shape and put it here in the floor so the cables will actually go from here out to a hook on the back that I put in, and then up to the winch as well. So that's what practice is going to be, is a winch truck, and I'll sit on this until I get tired of it and then sell it. But so far I love it. Okay, the reason we're all here is to do that. Now, if you've seen the photo in that I used for the marketing of this show, it's the K100 build along. Look at this, guys. The color is unbelievable. It matches almost what the real one looks like, and I bought that off the shelf at the hardware store. Unfreaking believable. The decals, again, Josh nailed those. They're unbelievable decals. They're great. Again, total pain to put on. I mean, to be perfectly honest, there's a cut. I mean, they tore actually, and I believe on this one it tore here, but I managed to get the seam close enough together that you don't even notice the tear. And then on practice, I did the same thing. Practice has a tear right here, but again, you really, I mean, you can't tell it's there. Just dumb luck how it all came together so nicely, and it was just gratifying to see that come together so well. So, you know, notice that, I mean, they're not 100% perfect, but they're really, really darn close. Okay, a couple things you'll want to know. I took a silver Sharpie and colored the clearance lights, orange paint pen with a really fine tip to put the orange marks on there. I took a silver Sharpie with a very fine tip and I just touched it inside these headlight holes so they would be silver, and then when you put your headlights in, they actually look silver. They stand out. First time I'd ever tried that, and it worked exceptionally well. Took the silver Sharpie, again a really fine tip one, and came in and did the windshield wipers and then the door latches, clear coated the whole thing after the decals and all the detail work was done, and it gets it to this point. Now we're ready for this, the interior. Now what I learned on practice was, and if you haven't done this already on your build, get ready, you're going to need to do it. Okay, you'll recall that we put a bucket load of solder in here, excuse me, not solder, JB Weld, inside this to make sure that this part back here doesn't ever come off. All right, you'll notice up the side here in the groove and the seam, and then all along the top here, lots of JB Weld was poured all over, and what that does is causes problems for your interior. So what you're going to have to do, and the same thing I did on practice, is cut more of this plastic out. You're not going to see it anyway, so who cares? Get rid of it. Just cut it out, get it out of your way, and you don't even have to be glamorous, because again, no one's going to see it. You'll know it's there, but no one's going to see it. Okay? So unless you're really type A, you don't have to be real pretty, just get it out of there. Okay? And that's what I did on practice, and it worked much better than if I hadn't. Okay? Also on practice, I came in here in the front and had to sand some up here too, because again, if you weren't real clean putting in your JB Weld, excuse me, like right here, all that's JB Weld. That's going to cause a problem because it makes your cab narrower. See? Right there, all that's JB Weld. You know, in hindsight, it's always 20/20. Should have came back and then scraped all of that off to the side, or just scraped it out. But, you know, that's what you do when you learn. Okay, so we're going to do a test fit on practice, or excuse me, on real one. See, it's going in really, really tight. We're hitting all sorts of stuff, not going to work. So what we'll do is I'm going to shave more off of the back, okay? And I did this on practice as well. So if you give me 30 seconds, I'll have it done. Here we are. Don't forget the windshield. Yeah, thank you. I'll get that done in just a minute. I'm not trying to rush or hurry, but I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So now we'll do a dry fit and see how we're going. Okay, coming in. Oh, well, that's already going better than practice did. Well, huh. Okay then. Okay, you may not be able to see it, but I certainly can here. I think we're rubbing up against some JB Weld on the inside here. And you'll notice, if you recall, way back when we started this, there is a tab here and a tab here that line up with these holes here. Okay? You'll notice the first tab's in, the second one is not, and you can tell that our hinges are obviously very, very unclean and not straight. So we'll pull this back out. There. And then we'll, whoops, oh, okay, good, it's coming. And the knife went in between the die cast and the tab to help it out. So what I'm going to do is, if you recall here, we said it was hitting, well, it's just stuck, oh well, look at that. It's hitting over here, so we're just going to take some plastic off of the sleeper there. Okay, and we're going to do that. I don't even think we have to be real careful. So we're just going to shave that and get that clear out of the way. And if you remember, oh, look at that, we lost a chair. Oh well, good deal. We didn't want that chair anyways. Driver's going to sit on a 5-gallon bucket on this one. So we'll just see what we can get here. Let's see if it, oh, look at that, that's gorgeous. Okay, it's going up too far now, that's even better. Okay, that means we got wiggle room, and we need that wiggle room. Okay, so now we know the interior pretty well is going to go in. This one went, of course, I had to learn on practice. That's why you do a practice. Okay, So now that we know the interior's done, we can fast track that off to the side, and then we'll get ready on the nuts and bolts of everything else. So here we go. Where in the world did my windshield go? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Windshield, here we go. Now, for those of you that don't know, your adhesive can give off what is called glue fog or glue haze or something. Basically what will happen is you get this white funky crap on the inside of your windshield, which will drive you nuts. And it is mitigated by using Vaseline. I've never actually used it, but I've heard a million times you use Vaseline to get rid of the fog from the glue that gets on the plastic inside. Like I said, I've not actually used it. Very occasionally do I have that, and the reason I don't do much with it is because I work so fast on some of these with the Instaset and everything. By the time I see it, the thing's put together, and then you're like, well, now what do? I can't take it apart. So you just either live with it or you say, sorry client, I screwed up and got a little glue fog on your fancy truck, and sorry, you know, I'll cut you a little discount for that. There. Okay, I just glued my chair back in so the driver doesn't have to sit on a bucket. Okay, now that you got your windshield in, that's the big thing. That's what you really want to do. Oh, and Jason says, get the gold label BSI glue and it won't fog. Well, there you go. Okay, there we have that solved. Okay, we got the windshield in. Now we're just going to step right over to the interior and stick that in. And why are we doing that? Because as you're monkeying around trying to get everything to fit right onto the frame, the chassis, you don't want to be having to hold this and push and pull and twist and turn and then take a chance of screwing up, you know, breaking off a mirror or one of these little turn signals or something like that. There's just no use in doing that, so we're not gonna. We're just going to save those details for after the fact. Okay. Okay, let's just make sure we got holes are lining up. Okay. Now, I'm going to dry fit this on the frame to make sure that the bad boy, everything's setting well, and then after I'm happy with it, we'll tilt it up and throw some glue in it and call it done. Okay. Now, you'll notice this is ridiculous. Look at that. That's dumb. What is going on here? Okay. Okay. Oh, this is no bueno. There. Now maybe it's bueno. Nope, not at all. Okay, what are we not right here with? What isn't good? See, this is the same problem I had on practice. This silly dadgum thing just going back with it, it just doesn't want to behave. Now, it sets reasonably level on the frame like so, but it's just too darn high. And you'll notice that is absolutely screwy. So, we got to go back to the drawing board. Yeah. Well, let's just park this on here and see if we're right on that. Okay. Okay, that's good. That looks sort of level, kind of. Driving like you still look. Okay. We're going to dry fit that bad boy in there. Oh. Hey. Hey, ho. I don't know what just happened there, guys, but I'm going to glue this while I'm still reasonably convinced that it's not going to be dumb when we're finished. Okay. So we're just going to put a little bead of glue down here. I don't know why it happens. You'll be working on a truck, you'll be ticked off like I was with practice yesterday. I'm like, what the fritz is going on here? I couldn't figure it out. You grind and trim and grind and trim, and then all of a sudden, snap, it just goes together. And you're like, what the fritz did I do? What the heck happened? Okay. Okay. And I'm using Instaset in a syringe because it makes me really, really, really happy, and I love it. Okay. So now we got to do the next tricky part. Okay. I'm just going to prop up this truck quick. Now, the next thing that will drive you almost to drinking, you know, it was lucky for me. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning yesterday when I did this step. Eesh, this was painful, especially after I lost one. Okay, I don't know if you can see these even. And if you guys are making comments, I've kind of not been watching there, so sorry about that. Look at that. Okay, okay. Hold your breath, people. Whew! All right. My windshield messed up? Matt's saying my windshield messed up. My windshield isn't messed up. You can't see straight. Or something. Okay. I've kind of gone back and forth on how to do this next step. In the past, I've only done a couple of these. I put glue, just a dab of glue. Let me do this with my knife so I don't get too much in there. Okay, so in the past I've done this, you know, just a taste, just a splash of glue, not much, just enough to make it nice and happy. Okay, notice that I don't have very much on there, just putting a little dab, not a whole lot in there, because we don't need a lot. I mean, they're just headlights and they're about the size of a, so we don't need much in there. Now, this is where your sobriety will be tested. Okay. All right. There is a flat side and a pin on these silly headlights. Notice that on the, okay, so you can see that flat side. It's pointing to my right. I'm going to come in here and grab it by the flat side. Now, I'm not grabbing this very hard, and then I'm dropping it. Okay. I accidentally dropped it in there. Didn't mean to drop it in there, but now I'm just going to take my knife and just kind of put it, line it up and get it in there. Number 1 done. 3 to go. You ready? And you guys making fun of me for my gap on the windshield. Don't you know there's going to be a visor there? There. Take that. All right. That's what you get for working too fast and not taking your time. And this one is upside down. Ah, splendid. Okay, now it's not upside down. I did manage to turn it. 2. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh wow, I set that one in there just right. Look at that, look at that. Oh man. One more to go. No celebrating till it's set. Oh. And then I had to flip that one. Ah! Now angels can sing. Woo! Okay. There we go. Alright guys, I'm done. Everyone? No, just kidding. Alright, back onto this. We'll go ahead and stick this in there. Now that we have this set, we can go ahead and be a bit more frivolous here. Okay. Alright. A little bit of glue on there. Just stick it down. No magic on that one. Pretty darn easy. That doesn't look right there, but anyway. Okay. Now that gap by my... I see it. You're right. There's a gap. We're going to take care of that with the visor toward the end of our assembly here. We do have some hand grabs on the front, so when you grab this thing and tilt it, you can stick those in there, or you can grab something. And I just grabbed me a set of curved... I love these particular pliers. They work really, really well. Okay, all you'll do on this, you just need a little spot of glue on the tips here. Ready? Not a lot. We're just kind of dabbing it, see? Just a taste. Just a taste. A sniff. And actually, I'm going to wipe off some of that on a rag, because you just need a little bit in there to hold it. Now, here's why you put these in last. These particular ones go all the way through this front end. They go all the way through the die cast and stick through the other side. And your interior will actually hit those and won't go in all the way. So that's something to think about. And they're actually supposed to go in farther than that. I might need to ream those out with a small drill bit. Yep, I think so. I didn't think that would happen. That's pretty unusual that happens. Okay, not to worry, not to worry. We'll get that. Alright, give me just a second here. Okay. Whoop. And believe it or not, my my D-wall here, oh come on, don't be a... That will actually hold a 1/32 bit. No, great, I just scratched my decal. There we go. All right. Sorry for all the bouncing. Part and parcel. Okay. And I may just do one side because, I mean, to be respectful, it's 9 o'clock already. And so what I'll do is I'll just do one side tonight. And then we'll finish up next week on this. And there won't be any of that long conversation at the beginning about practice. That one will be hopefully done by then. If not, well, we'll just... And it's going to kind of take a back seat until some of these other things I've got are caught up and done. I just got a number of things in the middle of. All right, there we go. That looks better. Because I still need to put some fuel tanks on there and exhaust, so we will definitely finish this bad boy next week. So Okay. All right. What I did on practice 2 is I had to come in on these and just ream these out just a little bit. Places for your wind mirrors, your turn signal up here. These didn't give me any trouble here. These through holes, and you'll notice I covered one up, which isn't a big deal because I'll cut that pin off and just glue it to the body. See, there should be a hole here, and I must have covered that up when I was cranking away on the body work. And then, yeah, the rest of it's really, really straightforward. It will take no time. Before next week, I will likely just install a drive line while you're not watching because, I mean, it's a drive line. Who cares? You know, piece of pipe and go. And then we'll need to put the exhaust on. Now, just a precursor to the exhaust. I'm actually using the factory exhaust on here, okay? On the real one, and I have to ask Wes if this is accurate or not, but on the real one, he has, this is blacked out here, so I might just take a black paint pen unless he tells me not to, and slide that back on, okay? And then the actual exhaust I'm going to use, and I picked this out in the pre-show, is right here. This is off an International Pro Star, and the exhaust on this, on the real truck, sits way, way high, okay? And so the exhaust will actually attach to the side here. And this is all wonky now. Thank goodness that's not right. Here, and I'll just show you what I'll do here quick. That heat shield just comes clear off, no big deal. So I'm going to just glue that there, like so. And then, of course, this will get cut off. And what we'll do, and if you're wanting to install an exhaust while I'm not watching or whatever, I use not this particular bit, but it's the next sized up. I think it's 3/64ths. 3/64ths bit, and I drill a pilot hole. You know, obviously I'm going to cut this to size. I'm going to drill a pilot hole in the bottom of this, and then I'm going to come back with a 1/16 inch bit and drill it just a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to use this particular solder right here. It will fit a 1/16 inch hole, and then, I mean, it's very malleable. You can bend this and do whatever and then run it up to your engine, and that's the way it will go. Now, on the K100 from the factory, it's got a little tab right here. Well, I'm going to cut that tab off so it will sit flush on the frame, okay? And then all the piping and everything else will be routed back behind it and into the engine, okay? So we will likely lose this right here. I'll probably pull that off because I think this is going to be a big pain in the butt to try and use the factory stuff over just doing something handmade. And the exhaust on this particular build comes clear out to the side of the cab, where on practice I didn't know what I was doing. I just thought, well, this looks good. Oh no! My exhaust broke off. That's bad. But it does give us an opportunity to look at something, though. What I described for you with the 2 drill bits, boing, right there. It's going to work perfect on the real truck. Now that I think about it, I don't even know if I glued that in there when I was working yesterday. Anyway. So that's where we're going to end tonight. So thank you guys for tuning into session 15, lesson 5 of the K100 build, and I promise you next week we're going to finish this. The pre-show will happen, but then there will be no blather about practice. It'll be done, and we're just going to build this and finish assembling this. It's going to be pretty straightforward. It's just matching parts to the pins to the holes, you know. And the hard part now that we've got the interior figured out, we've got the headlights in, hallelujah, we'll just be getting the exhaust right, and then putting on the fuel tanks and all the other stuff. That's pretty, that's just simple stuff there. We'll put some airlines on it and maybe a deck plate or something, and we're going to roll. It'll be done. So that is Rockin' HTV tonight. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of the series, and I look forward to everything that you guys are building. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and don't be afraid to give me static about my windshield. I can take it. and I'll dish it back. All right. With that, guys, we will see you and have a great night. Good night.